Well, former Governor Christie is stepping back into the national spotlight. He's slated to take a trip to New Hampshire as the GOP presidential primary is about to get underway.
Interesting. Joining us now to break it all down is our own Laura Jones. Hey, Laura.
Hey, good to see you. Yep, there's always a Jersey angle to everything.
Good to see you. So how much should we be reading into this upcoming trip?
Yeah, well, Chris Christie is apparently doing more than just thinking about it. It's being reported, as you mentioned, that he is traveling to New Hampshire next week. A report in The Hill noted former New Jersey governor is going to be holding a town hall meeting at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics. That would be on March 27th, so next week. Now, I think, Tara, Christina, what's going to be interesting is the timing of this visit and the whole landscape of the Republican primary, because former President Donald Trump, he could be indicted over that hush money scheme, and that's being looked into by the Manhattan District Attorney. So if that happens, and depending on when that happens, Chris Christie can have a built-in platform, media all there, ready to get out. Yeah. And, he has been speaking out and saying how much he disapproves of Donald Trump. So
right.
Yeah, that'll be
timing is everything, because that indictment was supposed to happen on Tuesday. Then they were saying maybe Thursday, but they didn't meet. And now we're kind of like, well, is it going to happen?
Is it happening? Yeah.
So it all kind of depends on that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just kind of a waiting game. People are just, okay, well, what's hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how legal things go sometimes. Yeah.
So, Laura, what would things look like then? We'll just kind of, project into the future a little bit.
Yeah.
What would Christie's, odds kind of look like in a GOP primary that does not include Donald Trump?
Yeah, well, right now, the landscape is really all about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, right? As far as official announcements go, so far, only former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and also a conservative author, I hope I get the name right, Vivek Ramaswamy. Those are the only two who have officially declared, okay? So as far as data goes, Chris Christie really isn't registering right now on many polls. So, yeah, he's not out there, but he is keeping himself relevant. He is, he's a constant on ABC News. So, and people are going to him for quotes and to get his feedback. So, again, depending on what happens, right place, right time, he could kind of get into the play a little bit more.
But judging from his last run, was it the Trump factor that really kept him from advancing, or was it, his own demise?
Yeah. Well, so right now, there's just there isn't a lot of data right now. But last time, in 2016, Chris Christie did really, he put a lot into the primary of New Hampshire, right? He got the endorsement of the union leader. That's the state's top newspaper. However, he dropped out a day after, because he finished sixth in the New Hampshire primary. He only had 7% of the vote, very, very low. And then the state's newspaper, that union leader, they even came back and said that they kind of regretted the decision to back Chris Christie. Donald Trump was just sucking all of the energy out at that point. Because, and again, in a Republican primary, you want to skew a little bit more conservative. Chris Christie skews a little bit more centrist. Some people call him a rhino, not really a Republican. So that's why it benefited Donald Trump last time and the more conservative candidates. So
that's really interesting.
That's kind of how that would factor in. That did factor in last time around.
Absolutely. So then, Laura, what's the timetable for him to formally enter?
Yeah, well, he spoke to a publication, the Washington Examiner, and he said he's going to make a decision in the next 45 to 60 days. And he came out, and that is a quote. So I guess we're going to find out pretty soon.
Interesting.
Yeah. We want to ask you also, the New Jersey State House renovation, that's a project the former Governor Christie ordered. It's been partially closed and under construction now for 6 years. When is it finally going to reopen?
Yeah, 6 years, almost $300 million. The governor's office and the treasurer's office staff, they've already started to move back in, but it is not open to the public because the front portico, that portion where that beautiful portion that kind of sticks out of the State House, that is still under renovation. But the offices are done. People are moving back in. It was built back in the 1700s. I believe it's the second oldest operating state house in the country.
Wow.
So again, in the 1700s, that main part, it was small back then. And then in the 1900s, they renovated it again. And it's gone through some, updates here and there. So they're trying to bring it back to the glory around 1900, 1910, that era. And what I was reading in some of the publications, I haven't been there since they started to reopen. I was there for the budget address a few weeks ago, and it was still closed off. But I heard once they were starting to unearth things, they found a new skylight that they didn't realize existed, that again dates back to the 1900s. So I'm very excited to see it. It is a beautiful building. So much history there, and just absolutely beautiful. It was my work home for nearly 2 decades, and I can't wait to see it. But yeah, it's been a long labor. 6 years, it's been they needed to renovate and update for so long. Chris Christie called it a fire trap, and it really was. It was those wires and such. But no governor really wanted to start those renovations,
right?
Because it's the power of physically being in that beautiful office. I still don't know where Governor Phil Murphy's office is.
Yeah.
It's so he'll finally get to have that beautiful office, that front office back. And they have all the portraits of all the former governors. It's truly beautiful.
That'll be amazing. Laura, we always appreciate you coming on. Thanks for being here, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Good seeing you both.